Dear participants of BIMCO 2023, you are now at one of the events of the Congress, namely at one of the lectures, and it's a great pleasure for me to introduce to our speaker, Liana SHVACHIY, PhD candidate in Biomedical Sciences and EIT Health Aging PhD School, researcher at Cardiovascular Autonomic Function Lab, Cardiovascular Center of University of Lisbon, Faculty of Medicine of Lisbon, International Fellow at Department of Experimental Neurodegeneration at University Medical Center Goettingen, Regional Coordinator for DACH, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, EIT Alumni Lead in Engagement and Value Creation. In case any questions occur, please contact either our organizing committee or lecturer directly. We would also like to remind you about the basics of copyright and intellectual property. The use of any material from the lecture must be done only with the consent of the lecturer. Thank you and enjoy the lecture. Liana, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Olya, for presenting me. Such a nice presentation and so many things that apparently I am. And thank you very much for inviting me to BIMCO 2023. It's my pleasure to be once again here. Since 2018, I have been part of the BIMCO family, not just as a participant, but as an ambassador, and now also as a lecturer, which is a big step up. So today I want to present to you from my presentation, which is named From PhD Candidate to Global Changemaker. And I want to inspire you a bit with my story of not only a PhD candidate, but as a volunteer, coordinator, and Ukraine Relief founder. And first of all, a bit about my education and my part as being a scientist. So I started my studies almost 11 years ago in my bachelor's degree in human biology at University of Évora, Portugal. So as you can see, I'm also Ukrainian, and I moved to Portugal in 2004. So I did most of my studies in Portugal. During my bachelor's degree, I did some scientific studies, but also being part of an Almeida Garrett mobility, which is like Erasmus, but in Portugal. So I went to University of Lisbon and also did my internship from the bachelor's at Instituto de Medicina Molecular, which is one of the biggest institutes for scientific research in Portugal. Then, as I became passionate about neurosciences, I continued my studies in Lisbon, in the Faculty of Medicine of Lisbon, and I did my master's in neurosciences between 2015 and 2018, in which I performed my master thesis project at Cardiovascular Autonomic Function Lab. So I have been a researcher there for quite a while now. And I also performed a short-term scientific mission in Lancaster University, which was a very good experience as I learned a new technique. I brought it to my lab and also optimized it there, which really opened up some horizons for my own education, but also for the laboratory where I was working. And then as I realized that a PhD is a very good thing to do for me, not only for my academic research, but also if I want to step up and become part of the industry, as I also realized that entrepreneurship and innovation is very important. I have decided to enroll in a PhD. So currently I'm a PhD candidate in biomedical sciences from Lisbon Academic Medical Center, but also so I'm working on my PhD project, which is an international project, but I also enrolled in the EIT Health Aging PhD School, which really promotes the entrepreneurship and innovation in science. So the idea is to really go beyond your PhD and see the value in it, see how can you step out from academia to industry. As for my PhD project, which focuses on the role of lead exposure in Parkinson's disease onset and progression, I am working in 3 different institutes, let's say. I have 3 supervisors, Professor Vera Geraldes from Lisbon, who focuses on physiology and autonomic function, Professor Tiago Oteiro, who focuses on neurodegeneration and protein aggregation, with whom I have been working in the past years at University Medical Center Goettingen, and Professor Neil Dawson, who focuses on brain connectivity, behavior, and cognition. So in the past 5 years, we have been working on this project, which main goal is really to evaluate the molecular, cellular, and systems level functional effects of environmental lead exposure in the central and autonomic nervous system, and what is its role in the onset and progression of Parkinson's disease. And to divide a bit what are the specific goals that we have is to really characterize the cellular effects in neuronal and glial cells of environmental lead exposure, to investigate the interaction between environmental lead and the alpha-synuclein, the protein that is responsible for Parkinson's disease, and to investigate the interaction between the environmental lead and this protein in a Parkinson's disease animal model. So as you can see, we try to answer this question with a complementary in vitro and in vivo approaches by using not only cellular models, but also molecular testing and animal models to really see what is the link between lead and Parkinson's disease. And as I have been working in different projects, both in Portugal while being part of Cardiovascular Autonomic Function Lab, but also in Germany while being at the Experimental Neurodegeneration Lab from Professor Tiago Oteiro, I have been part of the different projects that have led to several publications that I'm showcasing some of them, not only as a first author by working on my own project focusing on lead exposure, but also in other projects. So we have been publishing quite a while, and I'm very happy to showcase here the last publications, which actually got published in the 6th of March, so just some time ago. And because being a scientist means that you also have to do a lot of scientific communication, and one of them is publications, but also conferences and workshops. I have been in more than 50, in which BIMCO is part of that, of course. I have been communicating more than 20 times already as a scientist, and I had some awards and fundings. I have been already invited as a speaker, which is a big step up, especially for a PhD student. And I have been also supervising and mentoring students, not only bachelor's, but master's, and even PhD students, helping them in the lab or with techniques, which is already a very good thing for a scientist. And it's very important to showcase what science is, to be good at it, and to really communicate it to the general population. So here I want to show you a bit of the success, let's say, that we have some pictures from the lab. So where does science happen? And the finishing, here is the master's, here is the bachelor's, the great days of finishing one of the phases, let's say. Here you can see a short video that was done by the Portuguese TV about one of my supervisors, and I was also there helping him, but also some conferences that we have been part of. So all of that is super important, and you really see a lot of value in it as being a scientist, that what you are doing is important when you go to a conference and you talk to your peers and they see the value in what you are doing. However, today I came to talk to you about how to be a change maker. So how to be a scientist, how to go from being a scientist to being a global change maker. And mostly what I'm talking here is about volunteering and the working opportunities beyond being a scientist. So in this timeline, I will show you a bit about what kind of volunteering and working experiences I had and how they were important for me. So as you can see here, from 2015 to 2020, I have been mostly in Portugal. So I have been working in the Ukrainian school in Évora, trying to teach Ukrainian children that were born in Portugal, some cultures, some traditions, also how to read and write with a teacher. I have been working with Red Cross and Lisbon municipality, and also another company, which is Voluntify, doing some volunteering. And all of that really sparked my passion to continue volunteering. So when I was already a PhD, and when Corona started, I also became part of the Students Against COVID international movement, which was very interesting as it went from a tweet to a very big international movement that is still ongoing and brought many important information about what COVID is and how you can manage it. Important information about health, but also mental health, which is now one of the biggest issues in health. But I also have been in EIT Health Innovators community. In the beginning, it was EIT Health alumni. So from until 2022, you probably heard of it as with that name. First, I was a local representative, but then I became the DACH region coordinator. So Austria's, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And then I also became part of the Clinician Engineer Hub, which is the hub that really brings together clinicians and engineers, showing how can engineering help clinicians with their daily work. Some new technologies that have been developing in the past years. And for me, this as being strategy lead for Europe has been also a great experience to really, as I am neither clinician or engineer, it's another learning that this volunteering brought for me. But then as 2022 came and the war in Ukraine started with the Russian invasion of Ukraine, we had to do something in Evora, and just with a phone call to our coordinator of the Ukrainian population in the Evora region, it all started with a post. But then I founded the Help Ukraine Evora page, and all the help that has been sent from the whole region had to go through us. So we went from 0 to more than 100 volunteers, but I will talk a bit more about that later. And as the year continued, I also stepped up a bit in my EIT community lead as EIT alumni lead for engagement and value creation by representing also EIT Health Innovators community within the EIT alumni as being the big community within the community. And then also in 2022, I had the experience of working already for an industry. So what I did was being field marketing representative. While doing my PhD, I had the opportunity to be part of an industry company, which sells mostly antibodies and nanobodies that are used for science. So I have always been as a user, but then I had the experience of being on the other side, which was a great opportunity for me also to learn a bit more about corporate and how you have to behave, or how you should you have to work in a corporate. So now I would like to focus a bit more on my coordination of DACH region and my experience in EIT Health Innovators community, but also showcase this big community, which I am very proud of, and I really see a lot of value in it. And I hope that for you, it's going to be a big value, as in the end of this presentation, you can also be part of it. So I really hope that you see the same value as I do, and you join us as being students and medical students and healthcare innovators and future of healthcare. You are definitely our most important members, or future members in this case. So who are we and what do we do? EIT Health Innovators Community. you can see that here we are a big group of not only board members, so the people that are sitting really on the top, but also the local representatives who are the people who are helping us within the regions. As you can see that I am coordinating Austria, Germany and Switzerland, but we have the whole European community with us, and we have to really divide not only in regions, but also in countries or sometimes even in cities. And this is not just we are not just a group of people, we are actually a family. I have been with this community for more than 3 years, and I still see the value in it. I see how much it grew and how much it became important for me, for my learning, for my growing as a person. So what is the mission of Innovators Community? Is to build a sustainable community that is centered on a unique talent pool of healthcare experts with great marketing potential for EIT Health and its partners. As you may have heard, EIT is the European Institute of Technology, and it's a big organization, a big European organization that not only promotes education, but also innovation and entrepreneurship. And it has the triangle of learning and the triangle of success within education, entrepreneurship, and innovation, all together working for one goal. In EIT Health particularly, it's to promote the healthy aging and innovation in health. So who are we exactly as a community? We are the people behind this organization. Everyone who is working to promote this health and this innovation in health is with us in our community. And our mission as for members, as for you, our future members, is to be the leading European community that is shaping the healthcare innovation in Europe. So right now, we already see a big step up in healthcare and in innovation, but we believe that with our community and with our talent pool that we have with our members, we can really do much better, and we can really go beyond what is being done now and what has been done before, by really having a lot of startups, a lot of big companies with us, but also students and medical workers who work closely with patients, seeing what are the needs of the patients and how can we really help. So here you can see our community board. So as you can see, our community is divided in different regions. We have DACH, which is my region. We have France. We have InnoStars, which are different countries that are part of. You have East and South. You have Nordics. You have UK and Ireland. You have Spain. You have Benelux, which is Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. InnoStars has Portugal, Italy, Greece, Hungary, Romania, and Lithuania, if I'm not mistaken. And all of us in the board, we represent one of those regions. But we also have our community managers who are really helping us with all the work behind of what kind of opportunities you can get. And of course, as I mentioned before, we have the local representatives who are inside the different countries, or even within the country, they're in different cities, helping us to really go close to our community and to organize things that are more in person or in spot. So what do we offer to our members? We not only offer learning, which is a big part of what the opportunities we have, but also teaching. Each of our members is our potential mentor or our potential speaker for the conferences or for the opportunities that we are creating. Of course, you can co-create. Our members can just come together and start organizing their own startup. If you have a need, you can just come to the platform and really start co-creating, asking for what you need, and people will answer easily. Networking, of course, we are more than 3,000 members currently, and even get hired. So if you are in a spot in which you are looking for a job, you're looking for a change in your career, we have a great job section with big jobs from our partners within EIT Health, but also in other communities, to really step up in your career. So here you can see a showcase of our platform, and that's where all the magic happens, as we say, because everything that I have been talking about, or I will be talking about this community, everything is in this platform. You can get hired there, you can learn, you can network, you can teach. Everything is part of it. You can see here that we have the events part, the jobs part, the rising stars, the partners, who we are, of course, because what I am telling you now, it can be a bit even confusing. It's sometimes also confusing for us. And you can also do mentoring. So it's really a great opportunity to be part of this community. You can see here that our members are really scattered, not only within Europe, but also beyond. We are now within the seas as well, in America, and I think we are not yet in Australia, but hopefully soon. But we are really scattered around the world. And unfortunately for now, Ukraine is not very represented, but I hope that with my presentation here for you, we will really have a big step up in this number. As I told you, we really have a lot of opportunities and events, and you can see here that we have already organized more than 232 events since 2020, as this is when the platform came out. But before that, it was already a big community that has been organizing events in person, but then of course we all went online. We also have some thematic and regional groups. As you can see here, this one is for aging at EIT Health, which is the PhD school that I am part of, and which really brings the EIT Health academic and non-academic partners to train the new generation of PhD specialists, so that the ones that are not only specialists in neuroscience or gerontology or epidemiology, but also with some solid innovation and entrepreneurship skills. But you have all the other groups, like the regional groups, or we can even create one for specific BIMCO if you want to start communicating between you and having some more interaction, or maybe even starting your startups. And as I told you, you can really find the next step in your career. You can see here only some of the opportunities that we had in the past, but every time it's coming, there is new opportunities coming up. And as we have a lot of teaching and a lot of different events and opportunities, and we know that not everyone has the time to be part of it in the spot, we have all our online content in the community Rewind, so you can watch any kind of our series that we have here. And I am very proud of showcasing the female leadership webinar series, as that was one of the series that I have been founding and coordinating for the past years. So as for my own experience, and I hope that this will really inspire you to see that this community really potentiates you. As being an academic, you can see here on the top that I went from master's student to PhD student in biomedical sciences in the past years. But in my experience within EIT Health alumni and now EIT Health Innovators community, I went from an alumna, so from a member with some experiences that I had, especially in Portugal, to a local rep in Lisbon, as I was still residing in Lisbon at the time in 2019. I already had the opportunity to organize an event with the Glass of Opportunities, which was just an event of drinking some wine and listening to some experts. But also to go to a big local representatives meeting. So I met my peers and people who are really change makers. We were not in the same field, we were not studying the same thing, but all of us, we had one goal: to promote this community, to make it better, to create new things. Then I became I became the DACH regional coordinator, and since then I have been not only participating in board meetings, I have been organizing different kind of events, like strategizing in Salzburg, Austria, which was a regional meeting for my region, but also the Female Leadership webinar series, season 1, and now we are in season 2 already. We have been organizing different kind of events. I think the one that has been our biggest success was the one last year, in which we really brought together our local representatives and our board members to strategize a bit about this year. And we also changed our name and our identity from EIT Health Alumni, which could be a bit tricky with the name, as it could bleed a bit about university or academia, to innovators, as that's who we are. We are innovators community. So here I'm showcasing you a bit of my experience within EIT Health Innovators community. You can see here the Female Leadership series, the EIT Health Alumni Summit, which we organized back in 2021, some talks that I have been part of. And also here you can see me as part of the board in the EIT Alumni, which is the big community that englobes all the EIT members within the communities. And in this case, I am representing health. So with that, we have this big event every year, which is called Connect, because the idea is really to connect with each other and really meet peers from different kind of knowledge areas, like digital, climate change, raw materials, health, which really potentiates a lot of synergies, a lot of networking, and also just friendships. Last time I was in the EIT Connect was in 2019, and I met so many nice people that I still am friends with. And then we met in 2022 after a long time with Corona, and it was just such a blast. You can see here that I have also had the opportunity to mentor some Ukrainian girls in one of the events that was organized by another community, and even organizing hackathons with Clinician Engineer Hub and Innovators Community together. So bringing the different volunteerings that I am doing together as part of my experience is also to make partnerships. So what was my experience, or what were my learnings? I entered and expanded my network in healthcare innovation ecosystem. I managed to collaborate with several initiatives of EIT Health. I did some management and coordination experience, establishing productive collaborations between different organizations, expanding my network with entrepreneurs and innovators to boost the community with new initiatives. I learned new skills and got more knowledge in life sciences and innovation. And that really boosted not only my skills, but also my PhD itself, as it really helps me to be more confident about what I'm doing, to see beyond what I am doing in the lab, and to really see the value in not only my work, but also in my volunteering. And because I believe that this is also very important for you, I am now inviting you to also join our community. You can just put it in your browser, community.eathealth.eu, or just scan this QR code and really start being our member and get all the opportunities for yourself, or even organize it yourself. So because the community is shaped with you. But I am also here to talk a bit about how did I become a founder of a volunteering? Because being a coordinator is one thing; it's something that somebody has already prepared and is managing. But funding volunteering is not an easy task, or so I thought. As we all know, the war in Ukraine started on the 24th of February of 2022, but somehow on the 26th of February, after crying for a couple of days, after seeing after really being in a bad, seeing only the bad things, and seeing that there is a lot of help already happening within the world, I was questioning myself, why is there nothing in Evora? And so I decided to call our coordinator of the Ukrainian population within Evora and just asked, is there something that we can do? Is there something that is being organized? And as he told me that, well, there is a couple of trucks that are leaving in a couple of days. So if you want, as you have some social media skills, maybe you can just post so people can gather some medication or some humanitarian help, and we can send it. And that's how it all started. On the 26th of February, within a couple of hours, I got more than 1,000 euros for medication, and I just started buying it in the pharmacy. But then it escalated so quickly that you can see here that we not only gathered tons and tons of humanitarian help that was sent with different kind of transportations, with trucks, with even buses that were going to the border with Ukraine. We also had some different kind of initiatives, like from the Univesity or from PACT, which is one of the innovation ecosystems in Evora, which did a nice solidarity dinner to gather some money for humanitarian help. And even me and my colleagues went to the border with Ukraine to bring some refugees to Portugal. There were 2 caravans that went, and we brought more than 50 people with us. So we not only sent humanitarian help, but we also brought refugees. We helped them in Evora with jobs, housing, supplies, and even documentation, and they are still being helped. And somehow it went from 0 to around 100 volunteers that are still there for us and are helping. And I am honestly very proud and very not happy, of course, because it's not something to be happy about, but I am very proud of what we managed to do, because this is very important and it's still needed, and we should continue doing it for sure. So now I will just tell you a bit or send you home with some take-home messages. Just first of all, you can make a difference in the world. Just remember that your own actions can have the powerful impact on those around you. Just with a simple act, you can impact a lot of people. And be motivated and inspired to pursue your own passions and make a positive change in the world. If you believe in what you're doing, if you believe that what you're doing is good, you can really impact the people around you and the population in general. And your passion is your greatest asset. Whether you are an academic or a volunteer, your passion and dedication can drive you to achieve great things. Don't be afraid to follow your heart and take bold steps. Don't be afraid to call and ask if there is help needed. That's all it took me to create a new volunteering within the region of not only Évora. Then at the end, we were working with the whole region in Portugal, which is a big step. And I am just a PhD student. I never thought that I will be a founder of a volunteering. And of course, every little bit counts. Remember that even small contributions can make a huge difference. Whether you have time, resources, or just a kind word to offer, just know that your actions can help make the world a better place. And as Oprah said, passion is energy, and you should feel the power that comes from focusing on what excites you. So I would like to now thank you. And of course, if you have any questions, or if you want to just shut out for me, that's all fine. You have here my email. Please don't hesitate. And thank you very much for BIMCO, and of course for all of you to listening. And glory to Ukraine.
So thank you, Liana, for your lecture. And I have a few questions for you. So the first one, just in one sentence, where is the border between PhD candidate and global change maker? I mean, like a small summary of your lecture, just in one sentence.
In one sentence is that there is no border between being a PhD and being a change maker, as doing a PhD is already working for this change. But you just have to be bold enough to go beyond what you are doing within your academic career and see beyond and really want to help others. That's all it takes.
Thank you for your answer. And one more question about your volunteer activity. Is there any difference between volunteering 1 year ago, I mean when the war started, and nowadays? Is this process less active now or not?
Honestly, yes, it is less active, unfortunately. As you know, I am now in Germany, and while I was in Portugal, it was very, very active. So up until May last year, we really had big place full of humanitarian help and a lot of people helping us. But of course, as I had to leave to continue my PhD, we had to send all this humanitarian help or try to organize it in a way that we could use either money to buy some other humanitarian help or to help the refugees that were within Évora. But now what is mostly happening is that we are helping the refugees that are still there. Not me personally, I am just coordinating, and still when people come to me and ask me questions, and there's still some initiatives for the refugees or to help, but definitely not the same boom that we were seeing last year. Interestingly, on the 9th of March, when we left with the humanitarian caravan, we could see a lot of people that were cheering for us to do it. And when we came back, there was even more people who wanted to meet us and greet us. But now you don't see the same activeness, let's say, unfortunately. But we really should continue, even with small actions. So as I was saying, I'm now in Germany, and still of course, I made a lot of contacts with Ukraine, and I continue helping Ukraine, not specifically with this volunteering organization, but just from my side, or just by talking still with the Ukrainian people in Évora as well.
Thank you for your answers, for your amazing lecture, and for your constant support and help to Ukraine. It's priceless for all of us and all Ukrainians. And of course, we hope for the further cooperation with you.
Of course, thank you very much for inviting me. And of course, I will continue standing, me and all the people that I know are around me that feel in the same way. As Ukrainians are fighting for their freedom, they're fighting for their land. And I think we are just obliged to help, because that's the only thing we can do. Unfortunately, I cannot go there to fight for real, but this is another kind of how do you say it, of help, right? Of fight. It's to go to spread the word, to continue helping in the way we can.
Yeah, sure. So thank you so much.
Thank you.